What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Today's gonna be a video more, stringy hair. I used to have long hair. I remember too, like in high school. Today's video is gonna be basically about how to be a man, or what is the definition of being a man. I want to go investigate a little bit what that is to be a man in today's world. Life changes, everything evolves, so we always want to kind of keep being up to date when it comes down to stuff like that, because you don't ever want to be that person, right? You don't ever want to be outdated. But there's certain things in the world that back in the day they used to do that that I think that should still go today. And there's things that back in the day we should scratch out. Right here, let's go to the good old Google, right? A man is an adult male human. Prior to adulthood, a male human is referred to as a boy. Like most other male mammals, a man's genome usually inherits an X chromosome from the mother and the Y chromosome from the father. Sex different. What is that? Sex different. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. It says very much a very scientific thing, and it's correct. I believe that that's correct to it. Stuff adulthood, male gets called a boy when he was young, kind of basic stuff, things that we live on in our everyday. But over here it says what it means to be a man. Google not really helping out on that. If I would have wrote it different, probably not correctly, I would have had a better answer, a more direct answer. Not better, but direct answer. That's what I really mean. It says being a man is never being afraid to show your emotions, to be the little spoon, and to ask for help when you need it. Being a man in 2018 means rejecting toxic masculinity, embracing the difference of others, and uplifting those around you. Steve. There's another one here. What makes a man a man? It has to do with being there for someone, offering loyalty and support, being a good friend to both men and women, having a sense of humor and perspective on life are really important too. Men are simple creatures and are basically interested in three things: relaxation, sex, and achievement. This was in September 12, 2000. The Irish Times. What kid? If a little kid Googles what is to be a man, this is what he's finding out. At 8 years old, looking at this little box computer with a whole butt in the back, which it was horrible. I ain't gonna lie. You gotta hit it on top, and then it's as easy as having a phone, right? And man, this is a lot to take in. I don't know. A real man is someone who's able to make decisions based on what he thinks is right instead of what he feels like doing. That only a real man who has the self-discipline in him can deliver the promise to you. He is completely honest and open with you. That's pretty. I think I agree with that one, right? Because being a man has a very specific thing here that makes a lot of things make the world go round. It doesn't matter if you're a male or female, but it has always been attached to being a male. And it is a male does what he thinks is right instead of what he feels like doing. Because most of the time people don't understand. By people I mean like people that really do get up every day and have to go to work, and they don't really want to have to go to work. You have to make that decision as an adult, as a man, to be clear-headed to go, I need to go to work because I have to provide. Now, that being said, you have to provide for yourself, you have to provide for your family, you're taking care of your mom. I've seen that happen a lot more often now. Amazing. You're taking care of the person who took care of you at one point. You have all these things that you could probably be doing other than working, but you chose every day to go to work. And that's nothing to be clapped for, but it's like a decision that you make almost every day. Some people just become robots and just go, which is another way of coping with the mechanism of I have to get up and I gotta do this one thing that I have to go do. That being providing, whatever is the main focus, you are every day waking up and making a decision to do what is right instead of what you think. I think that's very important for a man to understand, or anybody in particular that's in a position of having to fend for themselves or fend for others. That being said, let's keep on reading what else the Googles has to say about what a man is. How does the Bible define a man? I was raised religious in a religious household. As a Christian, I believe in God. I love the religion. I agree with, I'm always trying to get up on being a better Christian and, better person in society. So to me, this is a little bit important because, I was raised on this sense, I guess. The sense of man in the proper context of the creator-creature relationship. Man is created and sustained by God. Genesis 1:27. Man is a person and therefore capable of making moral choices. So at least with this little verse that they gave you in Google to interpret what a man is, I'm pretty sure it's very vague. It's very broad space of what a man is. A man, like the other one, like previously said, you have choices and you have to make moral ones every morning, every day. It's not like everybody else doesn't, but there's just something about how you're raised and how generationally everybody kind of did the things that, left you with, you have to be, a man is, as a man, you have very few chances of being wrong. Which I don't necessarily think as a kid, you should never take that away really, because it helps. Like the fact that that's a major push, that you're morally obligated to do the right thing is important, because that holds you up to a different standard than anybody else who's not doing that. That's not only being a man, that's just part of life. You know what I'm saying? So it's more like, every day everybody has to kind of live this, good life and try to be the best person they can be, and that's super important, especially for a man, especially for if you come from the man of the household and the head house and all that, like especially for you, because you have an example to represent, and that example is gonna affect other generations and other decisions and other thought processes in the future. You don't know what your kid is gonna grow up being and what he's gonna want to do. So whatever you installed in that kid, whatever he saw in you growing up, your moral choices, your decisions, your ethics, your moral compass, that's what that kid is gonna probably look up to. You always have the case of bad crowds, other influences, but at the end of the day, we always revert back to pops, dads, because at the end of the day, that's family. That's what's close to us, that's what we know, that's what we saw the most. Here's very interesting. It says, what are the roles of men? A provider, a protector, a leader, a teacher. And now, in provider and protector, it says, most men believe that being a good provider means supporting the family financially. Respectable. I think that's a good observation. I would say that would be a pretty good observation. A protector, this doesn't mean beating up the guy next door if he insults your wife. Interesting, right? Because that's what we all kind of, I think that's where most men kind of went whack, or went so the opposite way, that it just became obsolete. Like it just became being a meathead. And some people might be right, that being male toxic, toxicity or whatever, how you say that. But yeah, that would be a pretty good case of male being toxic, because the neighbor hits on your wife, that's a conversation. Like that's, I want to say it the least. The least is a conversation. The worst, it's a couple warnings. It's not, you shouldn't never really get physical unless it gets physical, right? Because let's say he makes an approachment and he's being disrespectful towards you. You want to set a boundary. If he doesn't follow the boundary, there's laws in place to. That doesn't make you any less of a man in my book, because at the end of the day, come on, bro. Worst case scenario, two people think you aren't a guy, a man. But you know what I'm saying? That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario is, on the other hand, like you fuck the guy. Half of whoever finds out is gonna think that you're, a pretty bad person. It's like, did he touch it? No. Did they do anything? No. Come on. So that's a very, very common example too, because you always have, as a man, respect in between man has been lost. I see it every day. Being a bro code, they get broken every day. So every day it becomes less and less meaningful. So it's kind of like you have to make a choice, and most people take the other's choice. They just become very violent. They think it's just this aggressive, instead of a dominant figure, it's more like an aggressive figure. Those two things are very different, because at the end of the day, a poised, calm, cool, collected guy will always be more impressive than the guy that couldn't control his emotions. you know, a lot of things that I gotta situate myself. And I'm, you know, super young, 21, but I know this because it was instilled in me very young, and it's kind of like a thing. Like, even though I could have seen differently, I can revert back to the path. No matter how off I go, I can revert back here. There's some men that just never got taught that, and you know that's okay. Just find yourself back into this. What I think at the end of the day, and that we're gonna see here, see what manhood is in Google, right? Or what the world thinks of being a man is. I think personally, being a man is control, dominance, a leader, a poised figure in people's life, a loving creature. It's those things that, like, a man isn't identified by money, wealth, or fame. A man to me is identified by the respect, honor. You want to be a dominant part where you fit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to be a scary dominant person. You don't want to be an imposing person. You want to create a version of yourself where you're firm. You're that little boy is scared inside of you, and you're creating this little persona that's just showing dominance. Because sometimes you're gonna have to make decisions, and everybody wants to get up on you. Everybody wants to get one off you. Everybody wants to do something to you, and you have to show. You want to, as a man, you want to be firm in some decisions that you want to have to make. I think that has to do a lot with dominance, in a good way, not in a bad way. Because you never want to be too dominant, where you start becoming, maniacal. Like, you start being kind of possessive. That's different. That's a different type of dominance in your atmosphere, right? Like, a man is, you can't really leave it up to everybody. That's really what it is. That's really what it has been looked like. You know, I'm 21 years old, and I'm telling you as a perspective of a mix of what I've heard here and a mix of what people told me through life and what I've seen through life, right? Because I haven't seen a whole lot, but I've seen enough to have some type of imagination. You have to set a path for yourself to be a man later on, essentially. Like, you're looking back at 60 and being like, I did what a man's supposed to do. Not in a misogynistic way, not in a putting women down way. Is your duty as you as a person, and did what a man's supposed to do, and created a sustainable, financial, stable, mental, a lot of stabilities in a lot of places for the people that you love. The same way that a woman does, the same way that your mom did, the same way that your dad did for you. It's really what a man is to me. You have to take care of your family. The same way that the wife has, and the same way that the girl has to. The woman has to. Like, y'all both have two things to do, and they're about as the same and as different as it could probably be, because y'all two different people. And that being said, when it comes down to a family, a man is way different. That's a partnership with a woman. And now you're talking about what it is to be a father, you know? And a great father is a great man. I heard that one time, and I thought that was pretty cool, because you never stop being a man when you become a father. You just become a better man, or at least you try. And that's the best part about being a man. You're always trying. It's a complete struggle. It's a complete, a lot of failures, probably not a whole lot of successes, but every step of the way is as best as you can imagine, because at the end of the day, you're gonna have your reward, and it's gonna be dying a graceful death, knowing that you did exactly everything you could in your power to take care of everybody that you could. And you did everything that you could at your discipline and at your heart. So, that being said, that's another day, that's another video, that's another day. Appreciate y'all. We looked at a couple videos. I kind of cut it short because I was reading a lot of different things. But yeah, hope y'all like the videos. This is vital to change. I want to put that there. This is vital to change when I experience more about life. This is just my 21-year-old opinion. Nobody take it to heart. I have the knowledge of a person that's 21 years old, no matter how I look, with a beard. But I wanted to put this out here because, that's some things, like the things that I put out before about what it means to, the 3 things that I've learned at 21 years old. I kind of wanted to put out what it means to be a man to me, and what does the world think a man is, to a degree, because, this is Google, not really the world. But just an example of, like, what a man is to a degree, So, hope y'all like the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and shout me out on IG. Peace.